All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the Healing Room Tarot. This is yours truly, Makul, also known as B. I just wanted to get on to do like a message to everybody, just thanking you for if you've been following me from my personal page to my new page, or if you're following me on YouTube, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It really does mean so much to me because I never saw myself in this space. Yet here I am. So I wanted to thank you all and just kind of just have like a moment because I'm not I'm more than just a tarot reader. I'm more than just someone that can tell you how to heal your life. I am my giftings expand beyond uh, divination. And I realized that as I just finished, I was taking a class, or I guess you would say informational class. And it was something that the guys were saying. And I realized that I have not, um, on this channel. Well, you kind of see it in Cards and Conversations if you've been to a Tuesday night session with myself and my best friend Ashley, and you get a chance to see the wisdom, divinely inspired, right? I take no credit. And I say that in every area of my life, in every platform, I let people know that hey, I'm just a messenger, right? Um, and so I thank you for that. I thank you for tuning in. But one of the things is that I am going to start doing a lot of that on this channel, mainly because sometimes people need to hear words of affirmation, right? And it may not all the time, like I know sometimes we hear a post or hear a post. Well, I guess so, depending on how it was made and, TikTok messages to different songs. But we see the different posts that's, and I get them too. I watch them too. I follow them too. That gives us affirmation of self to empower ourselves. And so I'm going to start doing that. Excuse me, getting a little dry throat there. But I just wanted to come on and talk, see how everyone is doing, seeing what's going on in everyone's lives. Um, I don't do that enough, and I'm getting better with my personal life. I could get so wrapped up with what's going on with me that I don't check in. Um, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Because a part of helping everyone else is to make sure that you're good, is to make sure that you check in on yourself. And I've been doing that a lot. For those who know me personally, know that I am a giver, know that I am always giving something of myself and very rarely receiving. Um, and so I had to start pulling, putting, lifting, loving, healing myself. And a part of that is understanding that it may be something different. It may look different to you because you're on the receiving end when you're been the person that has been on the giving end for so long. Um, and understanding what does it take for you to receive the healing that you need. And so I've been on that journey for quite some time now, even having to really, really, really step out into faith, because we talk about those things all the time, but when you have to live it, actually live through it, go through it, It's a lot different from speaking. It goes with the saying, it's a lot easier said than done. And it truly is a lot easier said than done. We can say, "Oh, tomorrow I'm gonna go fly out to Spain, and then from Spain I'm gonna go to Honduras," and it's you can say that with ease, right? But then you get there, you get online to buy your ticket, and the ticket prices is not what you're expecting. And so now you find yourself like, oh, okay, well, let me get my finances in order, then I can take this trip to Spain, and then I can go to Honduras afterwards. And it's things like that. So you have to understand you. You have to understand your needs, your wants. You have to understand what you need to do in order to make things happen for yourself. And that is what I have been doing. Even so much so, this is taking new steps into new directions and understanding that I'm going to have to make some sacrifices, necessary sacrifices, right? In order to get to where I need to go, in order to be the person that I am becoming. Because when you're becoming something new, you start to realize that there are a lot of things that you used to do that you may have to let go of, or that may have to take a back seat for a while. And it's simply because you are learning a new space, you're learning a new area. It think of yourself as like the new kid at school, or a freshman even, right? Let's even say freshman. When you're fresh to something new, you have to learn the ins and outs. You have to know which hallways to take, which people to talk to, who, and understand who is for you and who is against you, because so many people can be against you with a smile on their face, and they look so welcoming, and they say, "Oh, come here, let me embrace you," and the whole entire time they're cursing you. So understanding that, and then understanding that sometimes your gifts will rub people the wrong way all the time, all the time. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I began to talk to her about how I just felt like I'm naturally a disliked person, and I'm okay with that. Um, because I realized that I have become a mirror for so many people. And when people don't like the things that they're seeing in the mirror, of course they blame the mirror. Oh, that mirror's off. Like, it's showing things that no, 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 you're seeing what you're seeing. But when it's a reflection of self, people don't like to address things of self. And from those experiences, that is why I've had so much wisdom when it comes to lived experiences. It's not because now there's some things, like, that I've read and I studied, and but the majority of it is from the lives that I have lived. You heard me correctly. It is because of the lives that I have lived. Even before this one, understanding that I've lived before. Um, Prime example, when I was in undergrad, um, a friend of mine was studying something. She's she was a teacher, but she was going to school for education, and she had to do this assignment where she was looking at old historical documents on the Pilgrims, of all things, the Pilgrims, and she was watching the documentary, and I forgot which class I was working on, but we were working together, and she's asked me if I mind if she played the video, and I said no. I need the background noise. That's how I operate. That's how I work. And so this song begins to play. I'm writing, and I start singing along, subconsciously, just the words coming out and everything. It's like I know this song, and I'm singing it. And she pauses the video, and I just thought, I don't know what I thought. I was so engulfed into what I was doing that I just knew that she cut it off, but I thought maybe she was taking notes. And she called my name, and then I was like, huh? And she began to say, how do you know this song? I said, I don't know. I just know it. And she was like, this is not like a modern day song. This song was written in like the 1800s in America by white people. And she's white. So she goes, by white people. So she said, so even if your ancestors were around, they wouldn't know this song because they wouldn't have taught it to them. So how do you know this song? And I was like, I don't know. I just know this song. And it came up out of me as if I was singing a nursery rhyme. Like, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. It just came out so effortlessly. It's just like, oh, I know this song. And she she rewound it for me so I could listen, so I could actually pay attention. Um, and I was like, oh, okay. And that was my first hint. It's my first hint. The second, also while I was in undergrad, there was a dream interpreter that was brought to the school, and I went because I'm a dreamer. I'm a seer. I knew that growing up that I have always been a dreamer and a seer. I see things. I've been told by multiple people you have seen seer eyes. I guess I don't know. I just know my eyes are my eyes. And so while I was in the dream, he asked us, he said, if you would like for me to interpret a dream for you, to please come talk to me and I can get it. And so I shared with him a dream that I had, and he just stopped and looked at me. And I'm not going to tell you all the what he told me, but I will say this. In the dream, I went back in time and saw myself as a child. Um, and I knew that the part of myself that spirit wanted me to understand was through my mother's bloodline. So I do know that. And in this bloodline, I was indigenous. That side of my mother, well, both sides are indigenous, native people, Native American. That's what I'm talking about. Um, and in the dream, some things happened, and I saw both of my parents, and I was marked. I'll just say that I was marked. And I came back to reality. And I was like, okay. And he just stopped and stared at me and said, You you have a gift that is undeniable. You have a gift. And then that's when he broke down what a dream meant. And again, I'm only giving you bits and pieces. um, and so I said, okay. So that was the second time I've seen myself in time, or the first time I've seen myself, but the second time I've had an experience. This third time, I went to an ayahuasca ceremony. This was like a few years ago, actually, so not too long ago. And in it, I did ask my ancestors to join me, and I did ask, I want to see a past life. Lo and behold, did they show me that I had not only gone through an ayahuasca ceremony before, but here I am, yet again, another indigenous native person. And I said, and I was actually, as I was partaking, I was like, whoa. Like, because if you've been through an ayahuasca ceremony, you understand that, that bitterness. The bitterness. It's the bitterness for me, but I can handle it. Um, and I made the statement of, uh, I never want to go through that again. It'll be 1,000 years before I do this again. Like, I made that statement. And it was in my tongue, my native tongue. So I want to be clear on that. But as I was translating, I was hearing it in English. Um, and then it was just like the ancestors was like, well, it's been 1,000 years. Now what? And I'm like, wow. Like, so be careful what you put in the atmosphere, okay? Because it will come back to you. It will circulate no matter which lifetime. It will circulate to you. And so I said, wow, okay. And as I'm talking now, I'm now piecing together how many times I've actually come across something from my past life. So I want to be clear on that. But that was the second time I've visually seen, but the third time I've had an experience with a past life. And so with those, you collect knowledge. And then also you connect knowledge from your bloodline, what your ancestors have gone through. You experience it, you feel it because you're connected. There's a spiritual DNA that not too many people talk about, but with your spiritual DNA, things are transferred. It's like the spiritual genetics are transferred from one individual to the next. And you may be a carrier and not have a gift, but you'll pass it on to the next generation because your seed, your child, has something to do in this world that is far greater than what they understand, will be able to understand, and can comprehend. But it is their assignment to tap into that gift, to tap into what they have been chosen to do or what they have chosen to do, right? We there's so many talks and videos on how we plan with God or high spirit or supreme spirit, whatever you wish to um, call spirit, right? And we all know that we sit down and plan out our life. I want to experience this. I want to go through this. I want to understand this. And guess what? When you create that curriculum for yourself, your life curriculum, what you're saying is that I want to learn this so that I may share it with others how to live a better life, how to live a happier life. And that comes with being called and chosen to do certain works. And I want that to be clear as well. Um, and they said like many are called but few are chosen. That is one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible, not because it separates and kind of puts a hierarchy to things, but it's like when you're called to do something, like we're all called into life, right? But even that is a fence, because think of how many children do not get a chance to live outside of the womb, and think how many children do not live past age one or get to age one. And I think of these things. So when you have been chosen to live a little bit more, I'm just trying to give an example, right? I'm not saying that this is exactly how it goes, but when you've been chosen to live and to do a thing, you live past what others can't. You do things that others can't do, and that's good and bad. And I do want it to be clear, because a lot of people try to, when you start having to talk about called and chosen ones, a lot of people think that, oh, chosen ones is like the all powerful, oh, that's got to be me. I've been chosen, and I got all this power, I can do these things. I can tell you this and I can do that and I can do this. No, 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 no. You don't understand. The chosen's walk is a hard walk. The chosen's walk is not easy. It's not beautiful. It's lonely. It's dark. It's hurtful. It's crushing. To live the life of a chosen, it's how can you go through that and still be so strong? How can you get to the brink of wishing death upon yourself, and then you wake up the next day as if nothing happened? You lose friends, you lose family members by the multitude. um, People misunderstand your genuineness because they live in a fake society. Whenever the Barbie movie came out, I didn't go see it. And so many people, I just didn't care for it. I was like, we already live in a plastics world. Why would I go see that? We live in a world where people are so limited in their views. We live in a society where if it's not popular, then it must be wrong or it must be weird. And sometimes that is I was going to say the pinball that well, yeah, it's like the pulley on the pinball machine. That's usually the things that help catapult people into their purpose and their destiny. Because when they meet people that are so shallow, when they meet people that are so demeaning, spiteful, it pushes the person that they're being mean to into their destiny. And it hurts. And it's a rocky road. So when people even see me in this space and they look at the giftings, and if you've seen me on the Cards and Conversation, you will understand that um, there's been gifts that I've had for years, but I just didn't understand, and I thought it was weird, and I thought I was the only one, until you find your soul tribe, and your soul tribe. Not all of you will have the same experience, but you'll have something similar. But if you do are fortunate to have multiple people that have had the same experiences, they teach you how to grow. They teach you how to ground yourself. They teach you um, what types of things that you need to do in order to succeed in this life. And I'm not saying success as in how to get the riches. No, just to live. I'm hearing MC Hammer song. I had to pray just to make it today, right? That's why we pray. um, they teach you how to live life comfortably for you so that you can go on to do the things that you're supposed to do, right? Go on to the life that spirit would have you to go through. So I don't know who needed to hear that message, but I just wanted to share that and talk with you all about those things. And because it's important, sometimes it's important to just talk and let things out. Let people know where you are in your headspace. Let people know where you are in your heart space, right? And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Like I said, it is a dark space to be in when you are a chosen one, but in the end, it's all beautiful. And I know that's hard to understand, but it's what I'm going to call like a crystal rose uh, theorem. When you have a seed inside of a piece of coal, and the seed starts to grow in extreme inclement weathers and pressure, so it grows. And as it's growing, and the heat and the pressure is on, it starts to crystallize. And in this crystallization process, out comes a crystal rose. The rose has grown in a place where it is said it should not have grown, but because of the pressures of life, because of the heat that it had to endure, because of the weight of the world being placed on it, it has become a crystal, something so beautiful. And when something so beautiful is grown in a place that it is not meant to thrive in, but it thrives anyway. It thrives on demand. It thrives by demand. It thrives because it can. That is why we have the crystal rose. And in this crystal rose, you get strength, you get beauty, you get wisdom. And people don't understand that you have gone through all of that just to become a crystal rose. This is interesting. And I'm just pulling cards, by the way, but I'm loving the message as I speak. Because the first card that came out is the Four of Swords. But it's that energy of relaxing and actually releasing those things that weighed you down, which is another reason you do have to relax. That is why it's important as someone that is chosen, even if you're not chosen, but you've been called, right, to do something. It's important to reset and relax and push out those negative thoughts in your head so you can flourish. And the reason why you push out those things is that so you can, I'll show you the cards. Four swords there, upright. So you can manifest. When you clear out negative things in your life, that's when you become that manifester. That's when you start to whip up things out of nowhere. People are like, how did that person do that? You whip it up out of nowhere because that is who you are. That is who you become. All the pressures in the life have made you that. And so when it comes to manifesting is so easy. Manifesting is so easy. But you got to clear out the space so that you can manifest, so that you can have that clear mind and clear way of thinking, clear way of knowing what to do. And then the Nine of Pentacles is here. Understanding that you'll be happy with the choices that you made, understanding that you'll be happy with where your life is taking you. It can be a beautiful thing. Okay, I just heard flip this one up. And then we have the Two of Cups in reverse with the Seven of Pentacles and upright. I'm noticing something. Yeah, sometimes your health is impacted. That's what I'm getting out of this, though. I know the Two of Cups is normally a relationship card, but Spirit asked me to look at the center, and I've never noticed this. But in this card, it's the health symbol. And so sometimes when you're not letting go of things, it causes physical sickness to you. It's like you're I heard married to medicine, but it's not in the good way. It's not talking about the television show, but it's like you rather hold on to your sickness because you're afraid to let the past go. But when you give yourself the option to let it go, you'll see that not only are you happy and healthy, but you begin to flourish. And that explains why Spirit asked me to flip this up, because it's the Two of Swords. It says you don't know what you don't know, but if you pick the road that you have never gone on before, you will see how better it is for you. Because again, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again. So if you try something that you don't know, that you've never heard of, it's going to create that open road and space for you to grow in a new area and a new era of your life, which is very similar to what I was talking about earlier with myself, like learning how to um, heal myself, understand what it takes for me to be healed, for me to rejuvenate, understanding what does that look like for me? What does pulling back actually look like for me? And understanding that. So I thank you all again for giving me this opportunity to just have this conversation with you, for me to be a little vulnerable with you. Um, because it's not often time, and it's not that I ask for validation. Oh, it's there comes a time when you can be yourself and you still question yourself, right? It's like, wow, did I really just do that? Did I just say that? And it's because you learning yourself. You're seeing yourself in a different light. You're finally starting to see how other people see you. But when you don't have that view of yourself, it's just like, oh, that's just me. And people see so much more and greater than you. And there are times when I say, did I do that right? Did I say that right? You know, and that's why I always tell uh, I'm not beyond reproach, right? If I need to be corrected, please correct me. I don't mind being corrected. I would like to be right. Who wants to walk around being wrong? you know, um, and I also say that because I am still in human form. I am human. I can't walk through this wall behind me. Not yet. But I also understand that, you know, I'm not going to fight you on what's right or what's wrong either. Because I know there's been times where people can say, "Oh, well, that's debatable," you know, and that only means that there is something, there's a viewpoint that the viewpoints are different. Doesn't mean that one is wrong and somebody else isn't wrong, right? It just means that sometimes you have to understand that the reason why you look at something different, how you look at something different, is dependent upon your life experiences, what you're taught, what you know, what you receive internally from spirit. A lot of the things, a lot of the messages that I say, and this is actually my second channel. I have a primary channel that I'm on, and even in that space, it's not supposed to become a spiritual channel, but it has. Um, it was just a way for me to give back to my community, and to talk about healing, because there's so many people out there that are not healed from things, and even myself, when I started it, there were so many things that I too needed healing from, but it was something in me that kept saying to get on every week anyway. Even when you're going through, get on anyway. Push through the pain. And not to say to not acknowledge it, but to keep going because it's helping you. So that is the importance of keeping going and releasing things. That space actually taught me how to release what I was carrying. And then when the time came, it was like, ding dong. Okay, now we got something else for you to focus on. And then I found myself in this space doing things I never thought I would, meeting people I thought I would never, having more spiritual experiences that I had only seen in TV, like as seen on TV, but I thank you again, you all, for tuning in when you do. I don't know if you've shared the videos, but thank you for sharing the videos. If you had a chance to catch a live, thank you for catching the live. That lets me know that I'm not recording these in vain. Now, it just means it means a lot. I can say that it means a lot. And so I thank you again and again and again for joining me. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for all of us. And looking back at this space and understanding that, not understanding, but seeing the growth that has taken place from now and then in the future. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you later. Have a good evening.